What is up, guys? And today I'm gonna force myself to read for like 10 straight minutes. I think this is a 10-minute read, probably more. There's so much to read, bro. Like, I wish I had a heart rate monitor, like to see how much I don't like this, like how much I struggle with actually reading for a long time. And without the heart rate monitor, it's really boring. Like, what are you watching right now? If you're still watching, especially on TikTok or Instagram, like why are you still watching? All right, let's force myself now. Wireless communication, wireless networking allows data transmission over the air using radio waves, promoting mobility and flexibility, simplifying installation, supporting scalability, and enabling technology like IoT. However, wireless networks face intrinsic challenges, including signal interference, security vulnerabilities, limited bandwidth, finite power sources, and coverage constraints. Wireless concepts and transmission. Wireless transmission media are categorized as unguided media that use electromagnetic waves to transmit data through the air, rather than being confined to a physical cable. The most common types of unguided media are classified by frequency. Radio waves, these are low frequency waves widely used for long-range communication, supporting both broadcast and mobile networks such as Wi-Fi, IEEE 802.11 standards. Radio waves are also used for multicast communications like radio and television broadcasting. Number 2, microwaves. These are higher frequency waves typically employed for point-to-point communication, requiring a direct line of sight between transmitting and receiving antennas. Examples include satellite communication and microwave links used for telecommunication towers. Infrared. The signals use infrared light for short distance communication and cannot penetrate walls, limiting their use to closed areas, often within line of sight propagation. For example, remote control. The key challenges in transmission include signal attenuation, which is the key challenges in transmission include signal attenuation, which is the reduction of signal strength as radio waves travel through the environment. Multipath effect occur when signals reflect off surfaces, resulting in multiple signal paths and potential distortion. The wireless standards and protocols. Wi-Fi is governed by the IEEE 802.11 standards to manage channel sharing and minimize data collisions over the shared wireless medium. Wi-Fi networks utilize specialized media access control, which is MAC control, primarily CSMA-CA, which is carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. This protocol checks if the channel is clear before transmitting data to actively avoid collisions. RCS or CTS is this mechanism uses short control frames to reserve the medium, which is crucial for reducing collisions caused by the hidden node problem. I cannot recall what I said. Wireless use case, holiday resort scenario. The hypothetical scenario requires a wireless network spanning a wide area. Guest rooms, recreation areas, meeting rooms, while maintaining secure communication and reliable connectivity as users move between areas. Mobility management. Requirement. We can see a table here. Wide coverage and high speed and seamless mobility. For wide coverage, we use IEEE 802.11 and or AC or AS. For simplicity, let's just assume that these are the same. These are the same thing. Like we ignore this. We do N and K. For N, it is wide coverage and high speed, and for K is seamless mobility. Right. Since users must maintain a reliable connectivity while moving between buildings and rooms, the systems need roaming capability. For wide coverage and high speeds, Wi-Fi standards operating in the 5 GHz or 6 GHz bands offer the necessary faster speeds and modern device to support for access and mobile apps throughout the resort. Seamless mobility, fast roaming. Since users must maintain reliable connectivity while moving between buildings, rooms, the systems need roaming capability, which is the ability to move between access points in the same network, combined with the handover. The handover is the actual switch of the device's connection. All right, so the handover. Let's see the handover actually. The handover is the actual switch of the device's connection. What is roaming again? Did we cover what is roaming? No. The suggested components and best practices is wireless OW and infrastructure. So this includes numerous access points deployed across the resort area and a centralized wireless controller management system to handle configuration and coordinate fast handovers. Network backbone. A reliable gigabit internet switch infrastructure is needed, ideally with redundancy to carry the aggregated traffic from the APs back to the core network. Security and access controls. This involves internet edge routers, firewalls to filter traffic, and an app authentication access control solution, which is Radius or AAA server, to manage user logins and implement a hotspot gateway for guest services. Wireless security measures and best practices. Wireless security measures include encryption and access control. The strong encryption implement the oh my god. Wireless security measures and encryption access control. The strong encryption is implementing WPA3 or WPA2 using AES symmetric encryption for a Wi-Fi network to protect data in transit and ensure confidentiality. For a network access control, reduce the radius or AAA server to verify the identity of the user authentication before granting network access. For the VLAN or VPN implementation, is utilize virtual local area network to segment sensitive operational traffic, which is hotel management system from guest public Wi-Fi traffic, enhancing security for remote management or secure application access. Use a VPN. Best practices for management policy, regular updates and patching. Regular updates on all patch components, especially access points and controller, to mitigate vulnerabilities. For security and policies, enforce policies like multi-factor authentication for staff accessing sensitive systems to prevent unauthorized access even if passwords are leaked. The principle of least privilege ensures that staff accounts and especially guest accounts only have the minimum necessary access required to perform their tasks. Principle of least privilege, security policy. For network security encompasses the policies and practices and technologies used to protect a computer network from unauthorized intrusion, misuse or denial of access, ultimately ensuring the integrity, confidentiality and availability of data. Network threat and vulnerabilities. Network threats fall into several broad categories, targeting the foundational aspects of security. The threat category is malware, social engineering and denial of service. And the type or example is ransomware, spyware, viruses and worm. Phishing, spear phishing and baiting. For the vulnerably impacted is integrity, availability and confidentiality for the malware, social engineering, confidentiality and denial of availability. Do I have to read it? I have to. Software that encrypts files or monitors user to steal the credential, spyware and keyloggers. Viruses attached to files while worms spread across the network. The act of manipulating people into revealing confidential information, often considered the easiest way into a network. Phishing involves mass generic emails, while spear phishing is highly targeted. The goal of DDoS is to overwhelm a server network with legitimate traffic so it cannot serve legitimate users. DDoS uses a botnet, which is an army of infected computers for a large-scale attack, such as solutions and security controls. Defensive measures rely heavily on three core mechanisms: cryptography, firewalls, and access control. The security solution or control is firewall, which is the CIN, and let's see, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Right? The firewall acts as a security guard to check all incoming and outgoing data, blocking suspicious or unauthorized traffic based on predefined security rule. This directly enhances confidentiality and availability. Cryptography, which is encryption, uses mathematical methods to protect data. Symmetric encryption, which is AES, is fast and used for bulk data, while asymmetric encryption used to security and exchanges and establish a trusted connection. This ensures confidentiality data is encrypted in transit and at rest. Visual Private Network VPN. VPN. It creates a secure encryption tunnel over public networks and using protocols like OpenVPN or IPsec. All data traveling through the VPN is encrypted, ensuring both confidentiality and integrity. Intrusion detection or prevention systems, tools that monitor network traffic for anomalies and block suspicious activities. Hyper-defined network, IPS can implement rate limiting to especially mitigate DDoS attack. Intrusion detection system or intrusion prevention system. Security policies and best practices. To ensure any organizational environment, technical defenses must be supported by strong administrative controls defined in security policies. Key policies and access control principles is authentication. We need to verify the user device or system, e.g. passwords and biometrics. For multi-factor authentication, it's a recommended best practice for verifying identity. For authorization, it is to determine what an authentication user is allowed to do, control access based on permission. The principle of least privilege is a policy that detects users and systems that such that they should only possess the minimum level of access necessary to perform their required tasks, effectively reducing the risk associated with compromise. The security policies formal rules that govern security within their organization, such as establishing password complexity requirements or outlining incident response procedures. The best practices for securing the environment is using a strong encryption for data in both transit and at rest. So in transit, maybe you can use a VPN for protection, and at rest you can do something else. For multi-factor authentication for system access, apply regularly, update and patch system to mitigate vulnerabilities, monitor network traffic for anomalies. It's into like protection, intrusion detection system or intrusion protection system. Educate users on security awareness to combat threats like social engineering. For distance, defending against phishing technically requires email filtering, while administratively requires employee awareness training. Ya Allah, finally done it. Let's go, GG.